People go missing every day, and as we try to find out where they are, sometimes there are clues they leave behind. Before we start, condolences to all the families and people affected by this video. I'm your host Andrew, and let's get into the top 10 scary videos left by missing people. Number 10, Elisa Lam. Elisa Lam was a Chinese-Canadian tourist visiting downtown Los Angeles back in 2013. She happened to be staying at the Cecil Hotel, which is already regarded as one of the most deadliest hotels in all of America. First of all, this hotel is so deadly that it has been the inspiration for many documentaries and an entire series of American Horror Story. Elisa Lam's case is much different though. She would be reported to be missing on February 1st, and this is when a whole police investigation went on. During their investigation, they came across the last known video of Elisa Lam before her body was recovered. In the video, she looks frantic and almost scared as if someone's following her. She keeps looking out of the elevator as if someone's there, but in the video, it's only her. Her body was eventually recovered in the water tank on top of the hotel, and though they concluded that she ended her own life, the elevator CCTV video makes you think there's something supernatural going on. Number 9, Trevor Doyle. On December 9, 2000, 22-year-old Trevor Doyle was pronounced missing after he attended a Christmas party with his colleagues. At the time, Trevor was working at the Bank of Ireland building on Legion Street. The Christmas party he attended was at a club nearby his work named the Buck Whaley's nightclub. When the party had ended, Trevor decided to walk home because there was an ongoing taxi strike, and unfortunately for Trevor, it was raining as well. It was 3:30 a.m. when he left, and the very next day his family and friends declared he went missing. When an investigation took place, CCTV footage showed Trevor arriving at the BM office a short time later. A man dressed in what's believed to be a black hooded sweatshirt was seen in the footage standing outside of the office, having been there for approximately half an hour. When Trevor arrives at the office, the two seem to chat for a moment before Trevor walks inside, and that's the last we see of him. Number 8, Kenny Veach. Kenny Veach was a 47-year-old YouTuber who went under the name of Snake McKee. He was known for his adventurous videos and likable personality. Just before he disappeared, he was doing regular hikes around the Mojave Desert in Nevada, and he decided to record his time there and post it all on YouTube. In the video, he claimed that he found a strange cave shaped like the capital M. He said that whenever he got close to the cave, his body would begin to vibrate and make him more paranoid. He never went inside of the cave as he never could really find a proper entrance, but when the video was posted, he got many comments telling him to investigate further. So Kenny did something that would please his audience and decided to go back and find the entrance of the cave once again. He went, filmed, and didn't end up finding it. And then he posted another video on YouTube. And now more fans were telling him to continue his journey. So months later, Kenny went back to the desert for the third time, but this time he would never come back out. Many believed he found the cave he was looking for, but in the end of the day, he did something for the fans, and we should forever appreciate that. Number 7, Gabby Patito. This case is much more recent than the others on this list. On July 2nd, 2021, Gabby Patito and her boyfriend Brian Laundrie began their mobile home journey and decided to trek the country in their own little van. Everything seemed to be going well as Gabby was actively posting on Instagram and on her YouTube channel Nomadic Static. The couple seemed very happy and in love, but as we know, social media is different from real life. A month into the trip, a witness called 911 claiming that they saw the two fighting, with both of them getting physical. So cops showed up and met with the two on August 12th and concluded that the two should step away from one another for a bit, and this is the last we saw of Gabby. 2 weeks later, and they would later rejoin with one another and continue their trip, except he would return home without Gabby. Unfortunately, her remains were found at a camping site in Wyoming. In court, they found his notebook, which admitted to murdering Patito and deceiving everyone else. So rest in peace to her. Number 6, Corey McKee. Corey McKee was only 23 years old at the time when he suddenly vanished from everyone in his life. It all started on September 24, 2016 in Suffolk, England, when Corey was out with his friends and decided to go clubbing at Flex nightclub. Everyone at the nightclub, including his friends, claimed that Corey was acting normal the whole time he was there. He was laughing and he was having fun. The only difference is that he had a little too much to drink, and at one point of the night he was asked to leave for being too intoxicated. Little did his friends know that this would be the last time they saw him. The last sighting of Corey came from CCTV footage showing him walking down a street past some waste bins at around 3:25 a.m. A half an hour later, a garbage truck shows up to clear out the waste bins. After family and friends reported a missing person, police stumbled upon footage which led them to believe he was inside of one of these garbage bins. His last phone location followed the garbage truck at Fast Beach, which only indicated that he was inside of the truck, or at least his phone was. 2 reports came from this case. One being that a woman claimed that her husband, who was a taxi driver, beat up Corey after he threw up in his car. Another report said that Solon's friend attempted to rob Corey, and when things went south, Corey's body was left in the bin. To this day, his whereabouts are completely unknown. In the hump of our list, we have William Ritchie. As you get older, time starts to slow down and you have time to do the things that you want to do. And this is what 90-year-old William Ritchie did every single day. He would have a routine consisting of walking in and around the town. The citizens of Fraserburgh, Scotland would often see him on his route, and it wasn't until they noticed he stopped doing it where they decided to report a missing person. When police investigations were ongoing, they found footage on December 21st, 2017 of William walking out of a store he would be a frequent customer in. Inspector Kevin Goldie, who was leading inquiries, said, quote, "We hope that by releasing this footage, even though it dates back a few weeks, it can give people a better idea of what Bill usually wears and the way he walks. The issue with this case is that he was 90 years old and the temperatures were far below freezing. And although he is wearing a jacket in the video, it doesn't take much for the cold temperature to have its effects. They started to believe that he got in an accident because his routine walk would have him go near the coastline, which had many areas where accidents could occur. However, the case went cold and no one really knows what happened to him." Number 4, Brady Wells. 23-year-old Brady Wells had her whole life ahead of her. She was in school and had classes in the next month. So she decided to try and go out to the Graham Central Station, which was a nightclub in Longview, Texas. She then decided to take a drive to her sister's home in hopes she would come out with her, but her sister was tired and decided to stay in bed. Despite being alone, Brady still went to the nightclub. But this would be the last time she would be seen. Brady was recorded on CCTV surveillance footage entering Graham Central Station alone, and she was seen leaving alone at around 12:30 a.m. The video shows Brady leaving the nightclub, but a man with a white cowboy hat is seen following close behind her. It is not clear whether or not they are together, but it is seen that he is following her. At first, you think they are going separate ways, but the shadows in the video when they leave show Brady getting closer to this guy. After days of no reply, her family reported a missing person and investigation was underway. They found that her car seat had been moved back as if someone taller was sitting in it, and a gas canister was found that wasn't Brady's. Number 3, Richard Okorgi. 19-year-old Richard Okorgi was a student who attended Oxford's Brook University. It was noted that he had struggles with trying to cope with the lockdown and the pandemic since he suffered from sickle cell disease, which is both a serious and lifelong health condition. This would cause him to fall into deep depression as he was going in and out of the hospital for blood transfusions. When the boy didn't return home one day, his mom was very suspicious, but she didn't report anything until she opened his door and found that his wallet was still inside of his room. Police then found this footage on Monday, March 22nd, 2021, showing Richard walking into Kensington, West London at around 8:40 p.m. After a brief description of what happened, cops established that Richard took a taxi to Lawton in Essex, but he was still nowhere to be seen. Unfortunately, a month later on April 5th, his body was found in the Epping Forest Pond. Surprisingly, no evidence of physical trauma or assault. However, the mother claims that her son was there to meet someone because he wouldn't go to that area alone. This is really sad and I hope his family finds their peace. Number 2, Andrew Gosling. In September 27, Andrew Gosling was only 14 years old when he went missing. He was a very smart kid, racking up high grades in school and showing signs of maturity at a very young age. He was a pretty normal kid doing the usual, going out to school, going home, playing games, eating, same pattern every day. Except on September the 14th, his parents noted that he was much more irritable that day. Instead of taking the bus like he usually does, Andrew decided to go to a cash withdrawal place and took out £200. This is when footage captures him leaving a store wearing a Slipknot t-shirt. It was there when he bought a one-way ticket to London, and this is the last time we see of him. To this day, his disappearance remains a mystery. 2 men aged 38 and 45 were arrested on suspicion of kidnap and human trafficking in London, but both have since been released under investigation. Was he lured to London or was he there on his own? Who knows? Leave a comment down below what you guys think happened to him. This is what he would look like if he was still alive out there today. All the way at a number 1 spot with Agnes Clavina. 30-year-old waitress Agnes Clavina was nowhere to be found after leaving a nightclub in the Costa del Sol resort of Puerto Banos. CCTV caught the last glimpse of Agnes as she left the club with 2 other men. The other men were multi-millionaire sons Wesley Capper, 37 years old, and his friend Craig Porter, who was 32. In the footage, we see one of the men grabbing her arm, pointing to the Mercedes car, then Agnes entering the car. After a police investigation took place, they questioned the men, but they claimed that they dropped her off near the flat she was staying at, which meant that she had to walk a few minutes or even hours with high heels. When police searched the vehicles, no DNA evidence was left there, so there was no way to link them to the crime. Instead, they were convicted of less penalties, which is complete BS, but I get it. When there's no evidence, you can't say anything, but come on. This wouldn't be the last time I heard of a millionaire covering up his tracks. Just saying. Well, these are the top 10 scariest videos left by missing people. What do you guys think about this? Leave a comment down below with some recommendations of some future videos that we can do. I'm your host Andrew, and I hope you guys have a scary day.